656-2255. What's on your mind? Go ahead, caller.
What's up, Jessica?
Hey, what's up?
Chilling. Hey, listen, whatever happened to the kid at McDonald's?
Okay. The kid at McDonald's went to court, and they said that they did try to wake him up and ask him to either order something or leave 3 times. And that after the 3rd time, when he did not order anything or leave, that they considered that loitering. And the judge agreed with them, and I believe he did get sentenced for loitering. But the judge did go ahead and suspend his any time or anything like that.
Well,
that he would have had to serve.
I went over there today. I had a son that's to be there too in front of Judge Warren, and so many things I've said about that court. I'm not going to put you in no position. I'm just going to talk. I took a recorder. They didn't know I had it, and I recorded these things like I record all the time. And I'm giving this information to the magistrate, to the Commonwealth attorney, and to the clerk. And they tell me, well, we ain't going to pay no attention to that. You just go ahead in front of that same judge. And I said, ain't feeling right. So I told them I ain't going in there. So I left the paperwork, came home, and I told them today, if they want me, I'll be glad to come back for a jury trial. And that's what I've been asking for the whole time. It's not my information ain't right. Their paperwork ain't right. Nothing they do is right, but you don't have the power. They do what they want to do. You understand what I'm saying? If I tell you the rules and I don't want to play by the rules, I have the power not to play by the rules.
You don't have a choice of a jury trial in your situation?
Yeah, anytime there's a civil trial, you have that choice.
Okay, good.
Constitution.
Good.
But what I'm still saying to Jessica, I said this wholeheartedly. I'm not a stupid man. I wrote an article in the paper about 2 weeks ago, and I accused the officials elected and appointed of being that have knowledge of my situation of being not right. I'm not going to say anything other than that, not right. And yet nobody responded. So I like to make it plain and clear. I don't think none of them that knows about this doesn't know that this behavior goes on. I'll stand up and I want to go in front of a jury trial and let my peers see it and let the chips fall where they lay. But I'll tell you one thing, Jessica, they'll never let that happen. Does that make sense?
You don't think they'll have a jury trial in this case?
What I'm saying is I got a tape of law enforcement officers, just like I got a tape of this court. I can't make it up. I got the paperwork. Everything that I need to prove it is there. They just ignore it. And not only I, but I met other citizens, up to 100. I took 8 of them to Kimball Reynolds' office.
If you had a jury trial, would you be able to have representation?
Well, yeah, but the thing about it, too, is that you got 12 people that have no interest other than making sure that the teachers are right.
Right.
And what I'm saying is when I look on the court manual, that's the beautiful thing about the internet. You can read anything, tablet-wise and manual-wise, that these state agencies use, paperwork, forms, and everything. It tells you how to fill it out, what's required for certain situations. And none of that's been followed. And I show that repeatedly. And they said, well.
So you said that you have a right to a jury trial, right?
Right.
So I'm assuming then that you're going to have a jury trial.
Well, I'm supposed to. Whether they let the system work like it's supposed to or not, it hasn't yet.
So I do want to ask you, if you do get a trial with a jury of your peers or this community, and are you going to accept whatever they decide?
Yeah, Jessica, I'm past that. Jessica, I'm not a crazy man. You know that.
Right.
You give me an explanation.
Well, the reason I said whatever they decide is because,
Yeah, but when you tell me that.
You don't know who the 12 are going to be.
And I got paperwork the circuit court's on the 2nd floor.
Right, but based on the way that you're seeing things, based on the way that you feel about some people in this community, a jury of 12 of your peers would be a jury of 12 folks from this community.
Right, and I can agree with that. But my thing is, though, when you see the steps that you must take in the procedure, once that procedure is not followed, there's no question that you can't end up with good results because you're not following the rules.
Okay. So, and I asked you, would you be able to be entitled to representation? And I guess my next question would be, do you think you would be able to find representation that would represent you?
That's the problem. I had an attorney, and then, people want to say you're crazy when you talk about this, but I can show you everything I talk about. They have ways of, if they have certain circumstances, they can tap your phone, they can ping it and tell what's coming in, what's going out. At times, they can listen to the content if it's
you had an attorney?
Who?
So you had an attorney?
Yeah, but some reason or another, I got 2 letters from 2 different attorneys telling me what I'm saying is true, but they won't defend me because it becomes a conflict.
Oh yeah, because everybody, let's be honest, a lot of people work together in this community. You probably have to get representation from outside of the community.
Right, but what I'm still saying, when you have numerous citizens that come by and say that these these things happen, have the documentation. How far does it have to go before somebody says, let's just see, is it true or not? That's all I'm saying.
What?
It's just,
Were you saying at some point that, or did I hear that you thought that there should be a council? Maybe it wasn't you, but someone said, and I thought it was a nice idea, that there should be a citizen council.
like citizen review board.
Citizen review board to hear complaints that citizens have, so that if that's a fair council made up of your peers or our peers in this community, it's not elected, it's not appointed by people who know somebody, but it's a fairly elected council of our peers for a review board. I do think that's a good idea, don't you, in terms of hearing cases and deciding if there's really a legitimate case in some, rather than just for city council, for example, to have to make those decisions.
Right, and then like I told GT at the last city council meeting, he made a comment that he had talked to me. GT ain't never talked to me in his life, and I made that clear last Tuesday when I went before city council. What I'm saying is that foolishness and lies got me in the position where I got to go be exposed my life. The only thing gonna get me out of this is the truth. And what I'm saying right now, and what I've been saying over the last year and a half, those folks ain't right. They shuffle the paperwork to meet their objective of what they want, regardless of the facts. And then they tell you to get your lawyer. And it's an uphill fight.
Do you think that, have you suggested a citizens review board to city council?
What I'm suggesting is a grand jury to look at these accusations of not only myself but others and see where they lay. And I'm telling you, these people don't want it because they know their hands are dirty.
Well, I always think if there's nothing to hide, then there's no reason for anyone to do an investigation of that kind of sort. I do think a citizen review board is a really good idea. You know, that way, number one, city council doesn't have to be their time, quite frankly, doesn't have to be dedicated to things like, you know, issues that people have with each other in the community, or even with agencies within the community, and whether or not they are pulled into it can be determined, you know, by a citizen review board that can decide whether or not it's important or not. It's a delegation of whether or not it's important enough for city council or for other agencies to look into. I do think it'd be a good idea.
Well, I tell you what, Jess, don't let you go, but it's good when you got the truth on your side. I can say what I say. I got it on tape. I say it to them every time I go over there, and I say it respectfully. That's why I show up, because I respect the law, but I don't respect those folks because they don't respect what they stand on.
Well, good luck to you, hon.
All right, take care.
All right, bye-bye. I do think a citizen review board is a good idea. I think, I don't know how they'd be appointed so that it would be fair. Number one, I wouldn't think I would want a citizen review board that would be appointed based on friendships and relationships or favoritism or something like that. I do think it would be a good idea. I don't know how those folks would come to be, but I do think it'd be a good idea that if you had an issue within the community, you could take it to the citizen review board or a citizenship advisory board to determine whether or not there's a real issue there. And that way, city council can do their job, which is, you know, to lead us in the community, for example, in city, or the supervisors could continue to lead in the county, and they could focus on the things that we've elected them to do, and those other issues could be resolved in another way. I think it'd be a good idea. Go ahead, Carla. What's on your mind tonight?
Yeah, that is true. I think it would be a good idea too, because in general, the process of life is coming to process of maturity. And